Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. Haven't done a video in a while, but this is kind of an update video. Just again, recent things that have popped up in the past, actually few weeks. It's been a while since I've done a video. Um, but yeah, so just gonna kind of jump right into it. There's a lot of stuff to show. A little mixture of everything. Got just some regular 12-inch albums. A number of CD deluxe box sets I've picked up over the past, again, however long it's been since my last video. I've also gotten back into collecting 45s. So I went through and did a huge purge in my 45 collection and just kind of got it where I wanted it, and starting to collect from there. And then just maybe a couple of regular CDs. I've got the number of CDs as always. Those are so cheap to find these days, but two in particular I thought were very cool to find, so I'll share those. But this might be a two-parter, so let me just kind of jump right into it. And I'm going to start with the deluxe CDs that I picked up. I got about 6 of them here. This one was a really nice score. As you can see, it's a, I don't know what you call these box sets, but it's like a little Japanese box set of Queen Sheer Heart Attack. It has the mini LP with the OB and everything inside, as well as kind of the booklet and all of that. And I looked this up online, and the few places I saw selling it online, they were going anywhere from $50 to $70, sealed brand new. And I just stumbled across this in a half-price books for $5.99. I was so freaking pumped about that. But yeah, I mean, you guys know, classic album. I have to go into any details there. Kind of same with these two, but just want to kind of show the Blind Faith. Again, everyone knows that one. I also picked up Black Sabbath, Mob Rules. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. Again, I don't have to say much about these albums because you guys kind of know these inside and out. Diary of a Madman, Ozzy, another well-known classic. Alan Parsons Project. I wasn't actually that familiar with this album. Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe, so I guess some type of concept album. Again, I had never heard of this when I listened to it, and it was, really good stuff to kind of typical Parsons, but I just was not familiar with it. So that was a great pickup and new discovery for me. And of course, Marvin Gaye, Midnight Love. Of course, this has, that mega hit in the 80s, Sexual Healing on there. And really cool deluxe set too, because on the second disc there's kind of some outtakes and different versions of Sexual Healing, which is really neat. He does some interesting vocal stuff on that, so definitely a great deluxe set to have. And then 2 regular CDs I stumbled across, or 2 of a few, but the ones I wanted to kind of share was Betty Davis, Nasty Girl. Great old school, maybe not as well known funk artist. Used to be married to Miles Davis, and good friends with David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix. Got a lot of influence from them when she was making music. So fantastic artist there. And then of course my man Magic Sam, definitely one of my top 3 blues artists right there. And this is West Side Soul, and it's just, again, Magic doing his thing. So those were the CDs that I picked up. Let me just go ahead and knock out the 45s real quick, because again, I don't have to spend much time on those. And what I basically did was, and you'll see this in my room tour, which I'm definitely going to get to this week. I had about just shy of 1,000, like 960 something 45s, and I basically just kind of went through and did the purge thing. Looked at each one, cleaned them. Anything that didn't have an original sleeve, with the exception of maybe 6 or 7 specific ones, kind of went out of my collection. And if the sleeves were kind of rough in any way, those went out of my collection. So, just kind of narrowed it down to a nice, tight, good collection, if you will, which left me with about 200 and, no, actually about 300, 320, 330 45s officially in my collection now. So it was a nice 500 plus purge. But yeah, it's just been kind of fun getting back into them. You can still get a lot of great stuff rather cheap. $1.45s here and there are really not a challenge. Also picking up some nice white label promo stuff too, such as, Run DMC, Mary Mary, with Rock Box as the B-side. That's a very cool, again, white label promo. And I won't take too much time to pull these out because it's going to be a longer video. Same thing here too with You Be Illin, Run DMC, another nice white label promo. Twisted Sister, Leader of the Pack. Again, another nice white label promo of David Lee Roth, Yankee Rose. Always love that song with Steve Vai kind of doing his little magic in that. Sammy Hagar, Piece of My Heart. Cover of Janis Joplin, Piece of My Heart. So, and really good version. So I actually I'm not sure I heard that before. Actually, I know I did because I've had that album on vinyl, but just didn't recall it. And then just kind of some regular 45s, if you will. Rod Stewart, Lost in You, one of my favorite songs by him from the 80s. Blondie, Call Me. Al Green, Everything's Gonna Be Alright. Gospel Should Not Be This Funky. But arguably my favorite song by him. Van Halen, When It's Love. Again, I know a lot of people on here don't like the Van Hagar years, but I think they were all fantastic. But I think the Roth years are fantastic too. It's just good music. Undercover of the Night by the Rolling Stones. Start Me Up. Little 80s hair here. You have Vixen, Love Made Me. Definitely like Vixen. Those are my girls from the 80s. This is one I was really happy to find. I don't know why this album and this song in particular has just always kind of meant so much to me, but Planet P, Why Me? It's another one of those songs that just creeps me out for some reason. I can't necessarily explain to you why, but it was really cool to find that 7-inch single of that. Of course, Bananarama, Venus, classic 80s track there, right along with Joe Jackson, Stepping Out. Psychedelic Furs, The Ghost in You. Fantastic vocals on that song. That's definitely my favorite song by them. Prince and the Revolution. You got Mountains. And last but not least, Since You Gone by The Cars. So again, just a few of actually quite a number of 7-inch that I've pulled in the last few weeks. So definitely looking forward to kind of continue to build on that part of my collection. And then on the 12-inch side, again, just kind of going through a few of these. Got one Japanese pressing here, which is Nazareth. This is their 1980, I believe. Malice in Wonderland. And again, very typical Nazareth type of stuff. I guess like no gigantic hit off of here, but if you like Nazareth in general and their kind of style of music, you'll definitely like this album too. So that was a good one. Let's set this over here. This was a blind buy from a record show I went to this past weekend. And Peoples, again, heard the name, but if you'd asked me about, this album, that album, songs by her and all that, like I really couldn't have told you much. But that cover just really caught me, and this was only like $12, a brand new sealed copy. And I bought a few things from this guy, and he even lowered the price and everything overall. So I was like, I gotta kind of check this out. And yeah, really, really fell in love with her fast. She sounds like what I would describe as like a very young Tina Turner. Her vocal delivery is very Tina-like, and it's almost like Tina Turner doing more Aretha Franklin type of R&B songs. Like that's really the feel that you get from it. So fantastic album right there, and definitely glad to kind of start discovering her. And again, that album was a total blind buy for me, as well as this one here, which you can see is Part-Time Love. And again, exact same thing. It's that Tina Turner doing the Aretha Franklin type of R&B. So definitely kind of happy to discover the new artist. And also picked up Goldberg, Misty Flats. Again, an album that I wasn't totally familiar with, but it's just one I wanted to check out. I had heard one or two tracks off of it, And again, the guy had his brand new sealed copy at a great price, like $11. So definitely had to pick that one up too. So I still haven't actually gone through and listened to this entire thing yet, so I'm not going to necessarily comment on it. But again, I know the one or two tracks I've heard off of it's definitely, some of that nice kind of softer early 70s singer-songwriter type of stuff. This is a replacement, actually, of one that I purged a couple years ago, which is Wes Bruce and Lang. Why Don't You? Just a really good, kind of just in-your-face rock type of music. And I remember when I bought this, the first time, I thought it really was an amazing album, but it was just a little too rough, and I purged it and been wanting to get another great copy in my collection, and just found that nice mint piece at the record show. I think I only paid $3 for it too, which was awesome. So again, another great addition there. The Waitresses. I could rule the world if I could only get the parts. And this has that song on there. What's it called? The Christmas wrapping or something like that. But I remember there was a girl that I used to date who loved that song, and I never was quite sure what it was because I never had this album. But yeah, again, it's kind of nice to stumble across a copy of that, and I love the Waitresses. They really represent that popish 80s sound that I just love. This was actually just kind of an upgrade. I'll Be Sure. This is Night and Day, or in effect mode. It has this big hit Night and Day on here and a few other things too. But yeah, I mean, definitely a big kind of, early 90s kind of, the one of the R&B heartthrob type of things. And so then a little hip hop added to the collection. Kind of taking me back to my high school days here. A little K9 Posse. Again, a great mint copy that was only $3. I couldn't believe they had it marked that low. But yeah, I remember probably the one song that's really sticks to me going back to my childhood is This Beat Is Military. I kind of remember that one quite a bit. So yeah, again, another addition to the old school hip hop. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. And of course, this has the mega hit Relax on it. Very nice 2 LP set. Another one that I purged quite some time ago. And then a few kind of, they're kind of scattered around, but definitely some nice new reissues that I was very happy were reissued and to get my hands on. And one right here, which as you can see is Everything But the Girl, Amplified Heart. Really cool band. I always forget what her name is, but really smooth voice. Definitely love their stuff. And of course, the big hit off of this was Missing, which I'm sure everyone's heard at some point in time. Even if you completely hate the song or love it, it was beat into your head enough because it was a pretty big hit. But it's really interesting though because the rest of the album, for the most part, doesn't necessarily follow the pattern of that song. It's not popish up, kind of slightly more upbeat dancing type of music. There was actually some things I heard on here where I was like, that song is definitely more of a Beatles flavor type of song. So yeah, I was really impressed with some of their skill here for sure. But yeah, it's great reissue. Definitely happy to find that on vinyl, or for them to have it back on vinyl, as well as this copy of Seduce. For those of you that are really kind of into the hair metal thing, this is definitely a band you'll probably remember from the, what was it? I don't remember the exact year. I think 82 or something like that. But a nice 2018 reissue because original pressings of this are very hard to find, and they sound pretty much just like they look. It's just kind of the great hair metal. Although this is on red vinyl, which I'm not sure why they decided to do that, but very good reissue, very good price, and it does sound pretty good too. T.I. This is King. One of the few albums I like by him. So when I stumbled across this in the record store the other day, nice original pressing in great condition, 2 LP set. And of course this has the big hit. I always want to call it, wait a minute, where is it? Oh, what you know. See, I always want to say what you know about that, but it's just what you know. That's why I had to check to make sure I had it right. Um, but yeah, again, I'm not a gigantic fan of his, but this is my favorite album by him, and two or three of my favorite songs by him are on this album. So, not one you stumble across too often. So that was definitely a good hip hop pickup. Jimmy Cliff, Harder They Come, definitely my favorite song by him. But yeah, just an overall good kind of popish reggae album there. Gold Stamp Promo, Kajagoogoo, White Feather, and of course you have the big 80s hit Too Shy off of that. So, and my first Ghost album. Again, a band that's been around, people have talked about, and you catch bits here and there, but I just never really got into them that much. And I was in a record store the other day, and a guy was playing the CD, and I just kind of heard, a couple track, and like a track, and I was like, that's kind of good stuff. He was like, yeah, that's Ghost, and so he kind of, told me it was this album, and a few days later I found it at another record store, so I went ahead and picked it up. So that's kind of my first Ghost purchase. Really good stuff. Definitely interesting. I didn't really have a grasp on who the band was, and so to listen to something that's kind of metal, then kind of let's just say other styles of metal, and then all of a sudden you hear like a trumpet come in here and there. It's like, okay, these guys are definitely doing their own thing. So this is, in my mind, my introduction to Ghost. And some more Alan's Parsons Project, iRobot there. Again, them just kind of doing their weird progressive rock thing, but classic album. Beautiful copy of this Uriah Heep. Nice Japanese pressing there. Again, stumbled across this in a store that I had no idea this was gonna even have the chance of popping up. But The Magician's Birthday is just very nice classic piece by them. And also, I've seen so many copies of this in the wild, but again, it's just never finding one in mint condition. So stumbling across another Uriah Heep here, which is Wonder World. Again, just another really great album. I've yet to listen to any of their albums that have disappointed me in any way, so still really enjoying getting into that group. Another one that's been I see them all the time, but hard to find one that doesn't have a bunch of black marks and ring wear all around the hair. But Earth, Wind, and Fire, Gratitude. Again, just some of the early Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I've been looking for a nice copy of this for a long time. So this was I was very excited to stumble across that. Another reissue that I was really excited about, or actually two of them here. Filter. Really the only album I like by them. I'm not as fond of some of their other stuff, but this was also the album that introduced me to them. And of course this has the song Take a Picture, which, again, a lot of people I know kind of hate that song, but there's just something about it in the melodies and everything else that was actually the first song that brought me to Filter and this album. So I was really pumped to see that they reissued. I don't know if it's a reissue or issued for the first time. No, first time on vinyl. So very, very cool that we're getting some more of that, kind of 90s, 2000s stuff that's coming out on vinyl. Which also kind of goes to this here, which of course is Janet, The Velvet Rope. Again, everyone kind of knows this album. One of her classics, In Too Deep, and a lot of other stuff there too. So another great addition there. And last but not least, I just happened to stumble across, this is a very good price, so I thought I would go ahead and pick it up. But Elton John, Diamonds, basically a 2 LP set, greatest hits type of thing. But I don't know, as I said, it was priced at a really good price, and even after that, I bought a number of things that day, so the guy even knocked off a bit more for me. But I just thought it was kind of a beautiful pressing. I like the packaging, and it sounds really great. And it's just kind of, if you don't have any other Elton John in your collection, this will pretty much suffice. Going back to a lot of his earlier stuff, to a lot of his big 80s hits. You know, so everything from like, you know, Your Song, Tiny Dancer, Rocket Man, Crocodile Rock, Daniel, that's side one, which is definitely back in his 70s era. And then, you know, Saturday Night's All Right, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Benny and the Jets, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, I'm Still Standing, Guess What's What I Call It the Blues, Sacrifice, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? So going like all the way up through his 80s and kind of going into the 90s phase as well. So yeah, really, really nice, just kind of overall greatest hits piece there. So, thought it was gonna be maybe a two video, but I guess not. But yeah, so yeah, that's just kind of some stuff that's come in over the past week or two. Um, you know, definitely happy with a lot of it. It's a lot of stuff I've been wanting for a while, and it's always great to see some new stuff come in. So, yeah, as always, guys, let me know what you think. The next video you see from me will be my updated room tour, and hopefully, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, VC.